It was like going in to have your teeth cleaned and the dentist suddenly ripping out your tooth without anesthetic.
The Spoils is a new documentary premiering at TIFF tonight that looks at the lasting impact and the controversies surrounding the restitution of Nazi-looted art, especially the story of one man, Dr. Max Stern. So joining us live now on the show to talk about this is director Jamie Kastner. We welcome you to CP24 Breakfast. And I just want to say congratulations on your 4 CSA nominations for your previous documentary. So
thank you very much.
Been a good week.
Thank you, indeed.
So I want to ask you, Jamie, what inspired you to create this documentary that focused on Nazi-looted art and specifically the story of this man, Dr. Max Stern, who is pretty much revered in the art world here in Canada. He received an Order of Canada.
It grew out of a 2019 film I did called There Are No Fakes that exposed what has now been recognized as the world's largest art fraud surrounding the work of Norval Morrisseau. There's a kind of unlikely brawl at the center of that film, or not what most people might expect in the art world. And a journalist friend saw that film and said, if you like brawls in the art world, I have another story that'll be up your alley. And what I realized is that this is very much a contemporary story, even though Max Stern died in the 80s. The restitution project in his name has become the most successful such project in the world. And this film chronicles over 4 years, 2 restitution attempts and 2 botched attempts to honor Max Stern with exhibitions in Germany. And in the process, it sort of pulls the lid off this still raging war over the return of Nazi-looted art all these decades later.
And, you know, during your research, what challenges did you encounter uncovering, I guess, the complexities of, you know, artwork that's been looted? I know you spoke to the mayor of Dusseldorf, a lot of these gallery directors. A
couple of mayors, in fact, and none talked to me particularly enthusiastically. Access was really a challenge in this because what you're really dealing with is people confronting the past and how are they going to do the right thing all this time later, and what does that mean when there is valuable property at stake and legal precedents being set? So with all of these stakes in play, a lot of my subjects ran me a merry chase. On the other hand, some, like the wonderful Berlin lawyer Ludwig von Puffendorf, who lives up to that name, I promise you, had no problem sharing his anti-restitution views with me at length. Saying things like, people have called me an anti-Semite, but I don't let that slow me down. People like this are gifts to documentaries, I must say. So, you know, you win some, you lose some, and eventually they all came around.
Yeah, for sure. He was quite a colorful character in the documentary.
Very much
so I guess good TV there. But how do you perceive the current state of art restitution globally? And how do you hope your film, The Spoils, will somehow maybe change that or shed a light on the issue?
Over the last couple of decades, this issue has really come to the fore, not only with Nazi-looted art, of course, but with the Parthenon marbles, the Benin bronzes. Major institutions across the world and private collectors are having to face up to this thorny conundrum. And because the Nazi-looted art is still relatively recent history, the trail is still warm in many cases. I thought this was a fascinating way to look into the many thorny legal and moral issues and let audiences kind of grapple with what the right thing to do is.
And of course, you know, Hollywood has taken a stab at this with
The Woman in Gold.
The Woman in Gold,
yes.
piece of artwork.
This is very much in that space, a real life. Well, that was based on a real life story too. This doesn't have the marquee names in terms of a 30 million euro Klimt painting. But in a way, the Stern collection, based on his family's gallery, which was liquidated in 1937 in a forced Jew auction approved by the Nazis, was more representative of the vast scale of things that the Nazis looted. These were lesser old masters, the kind of things that most, upper middle class Jews, when they had a bit of success, would hang over their mantelpiece. Not everyone had a Klimt.
Right, exactly. No, and I think it's important that the film kind of highlights that the looting of this art is really just one part of the genocide. It's a part of it.
Yes, a lesser known part. It
Mm-hmm.
was a revelation to me, and it was a revelation to me that a battle like this is still going on very much today.
Wow, what an important conversation and documentary. I hope people get out to watch it, premiering at TIFF tonight, but also playing in theaters after that.
At Hot Docs, at Cineplex Empress Walk, and so on and so forth. And
Okay.
you can check out the screenings at an Instagram at Cave 7 Productions.
Amazing.
There. Now my producer wife will give me a gold star.
Filmmaker Jamie Kastner, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much,
Congratulations on this work
Thank
of
you
art.
so much.